don't have my gimbal with me. The hotel we're at does not have parking, believe it or not. So they kind of scammed us. And as I was running my car to get the room at the rate they advertised, they said, oh, by the way, it's $30 a night because we don't have our extra, because we don't have our parking garage. We have to rent space from another parking garage. So I didn't want to go to my car in the middle of the night to get the gimbal, so I'm just using the phone naked. And so the family is back at the room, sleeping, very tired. We figured out quite quick, especially at night. But I mean, I've gotten my vaccination. That the kids are all under 12, they haven't gotten theirs. Plus, we wandered around the heat and humidity today, and everybody was feeling very footsore, especially the dog. Jimmy is very out of shape. I thought I was out of shape. Jimmy is even more out of shape. I thought he was going to get seriously ill for a little bit there. So it's really a nice night in New Orleans for February or August. February is prime time New Orleans tourist season. August, not so much. Matter of fact, this isn't very crowded at all. Even for a Thursday night. I've seen it where the streets were lined with people from one end to the other. Yes, I know, I'll get gigged for YouTube for... Oh, look at these. Oh. The guy has trained animals here, I think. Now, because I don't have my gimbal with me, let me try... No. Right enough on this street. Here's one of the places where they throw beads, show their bare chests. I'm going to attempt to keep my social distance from people. I don't have to be on top of people to do what I'm doing. I shot a video of our adventures in New Orleans today. We took the Algiers Ferry across the river and then died of heat exhaustion. I was under the impression that Mardi Gras World had that place where they show off the floats and decorations to the tourists like us. Unfortunately, Mardi Gras World has a place, a warehouse where they do that on the New Orleans side of the river, not on the Algiers side where we went. Lots of live music. I gonna slow down for a little bit because there's a big clump of these guys drinking those huge ass beers. Even though I've gotten my beerfluenza shot, I don't want to risk a crossover infection. It's a big snake. Woohoo, snake. Snake. A nice night in New Orleans in August still means you're sweating buckets. Oh. More wildlife. Iguana. It's funny, you come to Bourbon Street to see the wildlife, you don't expect to see wildlife. But I'm sure those critters are pretty tame, they're people's pets. Jimmy and Stella had enough of walking today. I don't even know why I'm still doing it. I've been shooting a lot of videos of our adventure. Pretty much have a lot of it edited. I edit on the fly using LumaFusion. And so some of it's already come out on Travel America's Backroads, is where you'll find us. So go check it out. I was trying to use the hotel Wi-Fi to upload one of our favorite parts of our trip. We went on a swamp tour, but not one of these New Orleans swamp tours, which I don't quite understand how people go from the heart of the city to do a swamp tour to the swamp, because I don't know, it seems like a lot of the swamps around here are quite a few miles out from the center city. So you'd be sitting in a bus or a vehicle of some sort for quite a while before you get to a swamp that would work. I don't know, maybe on the east side of New Orleans. But this guy is, he's an individual and he's very unique. My wife, Sue-Yan, she looked it up on whatever, on the Googles, found him. And I guess she read the reviews carefully, even while we were driving. His name is Captain Caviar. And he's not in New Orleans. He's in, what's the name of that town? Peterson, Louisiana, which is in the middle of Louisiana pretty much. Or middle of southern Louisiana. Slowing down a bit here so I can negotiate this. And I could say that tour, and we went as one family on that tour. We were the only people he took, and that tour was very well worth it. It was great. We loved it. We enjoyed it a lot. So that video is coming up. Sue-Yan already put it on her Facebook page. It's still some of the still pictures. that place. So if you look at the live feed from Cats Meow, you can see me walking under it right now. If they're actually live. It generally only goes during Mardi Gras. And people throwing beads. Oh look, there's a lot of beads on the ground. I'm not gonna pick those up. So I apologize if this is a earthquake cam. iPhones are pretty good. I don't know about the live streaming. Actually, I'm very impressed with the iPhone. I've been using it more than anything. I've been using my gimbal for, or my pocket for like when I need to do sound, like when we were on the boat and the wind was blowing, because it has that wireless mic with a dead cat windscreen on it, which works really well. All right, you know what? I think this is the where the web cameras are. There's a huge police presence here, so don't know what's happening. They're pointing in all different directions, so. Here's the dreaded, well, not dreaded, Marie Laveau's House of Voodoo. And I am only going to get a glancing shot of it because they're very adamant. They don't want video taken of their thing, and I'd be very afraid to cross people who are related to the Voodoo Queen. Ha ha ha. All right. So that's going to be it for Bourbon Street. Let's go down this way and see what we see. There's not a lot happening down that end, and you don't want to accidentally wander out of the French Quarter. If I felt up to it, I would end up going to the what on the east side of French Quarter, where all the bands play. I'm not going into any of the places. By the way, you know, I don't know if it's because Louisiana is one of the hot states as far as the beerfluenza epidemic. But it seems like it. It seems like as of the 16th of August, they've went ahead and kind of locked a lot of things down. And one of those things, I think there's a lot of businesses doing it. It's not really mandated, but a lot of businesses are requiring that you have proof of vaccination to enter. And I haven't really tried it. We haven't been going into too many places, and some of the places we've gone in don't require proof of vaccination. It seems like one of these streets is the best street to see really good street performers, not the, you know, the crappy kind, you know, that are just very, you know, they get in your face if they see you point a camera at them and things like that. There used to be this Chinese violin player. That was years ago. I haven't seen too much of her on YouTube lately. But they used to perform on, I can't remember which street it was. And I mean, it was just jaw-dropping talent. right here into the Jackson Square real soon. It seems like before it was like Bourbon Street was many more blocks than it is from here. And we went into the cathedral today. You want to talk about jaw dropping? The Jackson Square Cathedral. You must go inside there. There's a thing called the St. Louis Bible they have under glass. It's a Bible from France from the 1200s. Here we are. Now, aren't French. I am not good at French, so please excuse me for butchering the pronunciation. But right now, this square is being dominated by the homeless people, houseless people, or maybe people who choose to live on the streets. Maybe they have a house somewhere. Anyway, let me see if I can get over here. I know it's pretty dark. I can switch up cameras. It's really not as dark as the but here's that cathedral, and it is just jaw-droppingly gorgeous. So instead of calling it that cathedral, let's be a little less lazy and walk up to it. All right. Cathedral, Basilica of Saint Cathedral, in case you didn't know. I know it's strange to say that, but I don't think people realize or know that it's actually a church. I can nose in on that tour over there. There's a nighttime tour. Excuse me if I move too fast on some of this stuff. I don't mean to. Now I know where I'm going. I'm gonna find their houseless people and mosquitoes. So I will brave it. Been there already today. Right, let's take a look down this street.
I think I looked at that one. It had $3 signs, and we agreed to keep it 2 and under.
Which is St. Peter and Charter. And there's St. Peter, I believe. Now, French Quarter has a reputation of being a 24-hour place. It is in parts, but most of it isn't. Some things close down pretty early. Now, we've been going in a lot of places, and we have our masks around our neck and everything, but we haven't been like told we need to wear them. the children, when we go in places, have been told by us to put their masks on. And the big thing is with them, a lot of the places we got into, I don't know if it's because of the time of year or because of the epidemic, and the least busy I've seen this city in a long time, and since I've been coming here. My wife and I started out really loving this town, and then each time we've come here, we've had more and more sour experiences with this town. Mostly due to the aggressiveness of the tourism trade. Like I say, our experience with our hotel has kind of soured us. You know, telling us basically they have one rate and then upcharging on every little thing to where it's no longer even anywhere nearly close to being a bargain. We should have known better. I'm gonna put it on this camera, which will make it more shaky.
What all have y'all seen? Oh, let's see. And the World War II Museum. Okay. It was good. A lot of mine camp over there.
The free man of color, never a slave. But usually a slayback said any sheriff can be alerted that you are a runaway. Now, as a sheriff, I get $5 saying, "Oh no, you're free. Never mind, you're good." I get $10 saying you are in fact a runaway.
This time of night, even on a Thursday night, this place would be really, really busy. But it's not. And I think that's due to the beer influenza. Let me put it back on a more stable wide angle. Of course, one of the things we did today, we got our beignets. When I upload that video, you'll see it. You know, now that I've done a lot of YouTube stuff, I find that annoying. People ride around on bikes with stereo blasting. And here is what's become the touristy of all touristy places. And any time, night or day, it's usually a line to get in here. Look how empty it is. I can zoom in and really show you. Not that many people at all. Empty tables. And they're still doing pandemic rules. You can't go into the kitchen anymore. They don't serve you at the table anymore. You have to go in and they hand you a takeout bag. All right, let me put it on the camera that's shaky, but you can see something. Let me walk like I don't have a gimbal. Ooh. It is, I don't know what time at night it is, and I am sweating my you know what off. And maybe you don't know what. All right, let me put it on wide, make it more stable. Oh, I'm skipping over the stereotype. New Orleans viewpoint. We came here today to take our family pictures. Nobody bothered us. Wasn't that nice? It's beautiful. Last time we were here, you couldn't even get in there, and it was mainly the tour groups would dominate the point of view. And you know, the one place where people want to go get their picture taken, and one tour stand there and talk about stuff, and oh well. Trolley. I've seen the St. Charles streetcar. We didn't take it. So if anybody's wondering, no, we didn't subject the children to that. Wish we could ride it, but it's too risky. And we did take the Algiers Ferry, and it was empty. And they're now charging for the Algiers Ferry. I don't know when that started. Let's see, where can I go? This right here is full of people. I don't want to be like talking to myself. People look at you like you're weird. Well, maybe not around here, because I don't know. There's so many people that do that. Oh, these little planters don't have a place to sit. I'll go over here. We sat for quite a while, longer than we had in the past, and actually watched the ships go by and put it on the New Orleans $1 million view. Oh, there is a ship out there. I don't know if this will do anything. Yeah, that's not too bad. I watch a live stream from Duluth, Minnesota. They got like, I don't know how many cameras are out there. Their harbor Duluth harbor cam. And you know, they get crowds of people watching the ships, and they have narration, and you know, the Corps of Engineers sponsors it. They have camera angles, different parts of the harbor, so you can watch a ship from like 3 or 4 different angles with whatever you want. There comes somebody with got to demonstrate his taste in music to everyone. Anyway, so I try and tune into New Orleans port cam, and there is such a thing, but it's horrible. There's like one of these skyscrapers around here, and I think maybe it's sponsored by a bank, or it's part of the port authority or whatever. It's terrible. is it half the time it's not even on or not updated. And you know, we were sitting here earlier today, and at one time there were 5 ships traveling around, and various other boats and river boats and everything. And people definitely appreciating it. They're sitting over there, they're taking pictures and shooting videos. Maybe some were live streaming it. And the city of New Orleans is just kind of like, meh, who cares? You know? So maybe somebody should get on that. It could be a money-making venture for them. Get cameras around the port here at different vantages. And I think a lot of people would tune into it. Because you know what? I'm not the only boat nerd out there. We got rail fans, we got boat nerds. That was a bicycle going by. Just, you know. That looks like a tugboat pushing barges, or was it? If it's pushing an actual hull, I guess it's called an articulated. Ah, the breeze is nice. Just standing here. As soon as I start walking, I start sweating my butt off. Maybe that's why I'm not being eaten alive here. And I don't see a whole lot of houseless people here. It must be the wrong time of year. Travelers who love New Orleans. Matter of fact, we hung out with somebody who was kind of like that. She was living in her van, and she was very much kind of a crusty punk. And she told us, you know, the saying goes that New Orleans is where crusties go to die. Meaning a lot of drug overdoses here. Which is actually people choosing to come here and essentially kill themselves with drugs and alcohol. Oop. Alright. I'm a wuss. I don't like mosquitoes. They started lighting up on me. Why don't you put on repellent? I hate the repellent. Sticky, icky, poisonous. Sticky and icky. You kind of meander back. Maybe take one last pass at the belly of the beast, and then head back to the hotel. Now, the hotel that we're staying at is a respected national chain, one that we've stayed at a lot in the past and had good experiences with. So we called their hotline and told them what the local hotel here is doing. Not that that'll make any difference, because a lot of these national chains are franchises. It's the individuals that own the, turn on the, it's individual people who own a franchise, and if they don't meet certain standards of the hotel chain will boot them. And So we know that, and we called the national line. Essentially, that's the owner's boss, and told them what they're up to. Say, hey, we were attracted to the center city by a certain rate, advertised rate, and we were told it's a pet-friendly hotel. And so we called up the number and was told what the rate was. So we decided to go for it. And way in, we passed several places, and we kind of said to ourselves, we should stay here, because our original plan was to actually go up. Was originally to go on the edge of town and just kind of, drive in every day. And so when we got here, work, said, hey, do you remember us? We called earlier. Oh yeah, sure. And then it's like, well, we don't have that room, which it's typical. So what's it going to cost? Well, it's going to cost a little bit higher. All right, well, I can deal with that. And oh, by the way, and then I go to pay, like there's the rate. And so I give her I'm putting my credit card in the machine. As I'm putting in, oh, we have a $30, she's handing me a piece of paper. We have a $30 per night parking fee. I'm like, okay, you could have said that on the phone to us. It would have helped us make our decision, so the room isn't what you advertise. And then we do all that, and there's a $30 per night refundable deposit, which I hope we get back. And then as we're coming in, sort of upset on the bait and switch, after talking on the phone to these people, and there's a big sign on the wall that says they're a dog-friendly hotel, we're bringing our dogs in. Oh, well, that's another $30 a night fee for your dogs. So how does a room, and I'll tell you what the rate that they advertised was, how does a room, two double beds, go from $75 a night to over $300 a night? Or not, $75 a night to $175 a night, or over $300 in total. So we got in. It made us feel better to dial the hotline and let them know. And we told them the specifics, that we were talking to them on the phone, and they didn't bother to mention certain things, which they should have told us, and waited until we were doing the transaction to tell us. So New Orleans, we know, is not a cheap place. We're not under any illusions here. That's why we were thinking we were going to go further out. But when people play those little games with you, it sours people's experiences. And pretty soon everything starts getting really crappy. The quality of the people that's attracted goes downhill, As we found out by exploring Louisiana and even exploring New Orleans, there's a whole lot more to this place than just French Quarter and Bourbon Street. There's a whole wonderful culture here. And most of the people who are involved in that culture don't want to have anything to do with the not necessarily the tourists. They love the tourists, but they don't like the trashy crap. And a lot of the stuff you'll see here If you go to Key West, it's the same. If you go to St. Augustine and parts of St. Augustine, it's the same. You go to North Carolina, they have the same kind of cheesy t-shirt shops and
It's like a Long Island iced tea in there.
tacky knick-knack shops. Ooh, sticky. So, sounds like I'm kvetching a lot. Well, no, we came here. It's like we say you can't come to this area and pass up New Orleans. There's a lot that is fun about this town, but when people start having these kind of experiences, oh, I believe this is the street that has good performers on it, but I don't see any. What is this street? I'm at St. Peter and I can't read, it's backlit. Wait for these cars to pass. St. Peter and Royal.
And why the hell they keep breaking the windows? Dumbass. Dumbass. You got the ball and a lot of money going out here talking, man. Hold on, knock it out.
Yep. So much fun. So why am I wandering around here? Well, because this is the last night before we start heading back. And it's tradition, I guess. This trip actually started out as a Texas road trip. And it was supposed to be a North Carolina road trip. We just needed to travel somewhere and get out of our heads, basically. Ooh, that feels good. Areas so often you pass an air conditioning unit that's open doors or all right, I guess I can walk down the street now. There's the famous sign, Reservation Hall. It's gotten busier here. There's other reasons not to bring children out here, especially at night, other than the beerfluenza. And that would be at this place, especially at night, is not age appropriate. I remember one time we came out here and camped in our RV. Which that was a major thing that upset all our plans this time around. We were going to do this in the Navion. Navion chose to break down and be in the shop 2 weeks before the start of our vacation. And of course, you know, nobody can find parts for anything. So it's been in the shop for about 3 weeks. I think that people that are out here are mostly local people. Excuse me.
My bad.
Sorry. Dripping wet. sorry if I'm not really holding this super steady. Again, as they say, I just have the bare phone using a built-in stabilization, which I don't know how well it works with this live streaming app that I use. You know, after a while, you kind of are happy to get out of the chaos. Again, you know, I'm winding this down. I'm heading back. I'm gonna go down canal as far as the stream will let me, and then I'll shut it down before I get to my hotel that I've been bad mouthing, because just suffice it to say that if you talk about it, and most people can get the idea later what place I'm talking about, it could be any one of them, any one of these downtown hotels. I don't think I've ever heard of a situation where you know what? Come to think of it, probably get yelled at for having a camera on in this place. As a matter of fact, it is a bad idea. I was going to go in one of these places. Messiah was looking at the mass. Yeah, never mind. They put signs up say no photography. They're afraid people are going to steal from somebody else. I'm pretty cynical. I'm wearing one I bought today. We bought today. Hey, Bob Brown. Thank you. Thanks for the feedback. I sound like I'm kvetching a lot. Mostly I'm just kind of retelling our experience. And, you know, people watch us later, they can hear this story of how we got upcharged and taken advantage of, and, you know, might help people out later on. Actually, we talked to Captain Caviar, and we asked him what places he recommended, and he gave us a name of a good place. And you know, it was a nice old lady, and locally owned, and you know, she runs, I guess, probably like a bed and breakfast, or a I don't know what you call it. And we told her what we had in the way of children, and except that she didn't have the rooms. And the reason she doesn't have hardly any rooms is because of the beer fluenza. I think they can't hire anybody. They can't find any employees. And so I think either she's doing it with a bare bones staff, or she's doing it all herself. And so she's only got a couple of rooms open, and they all got booked up. So
We do not a lot.
any other time, that suggestion would have. I've never eaten in this place. It looks pretty greasy, actually. Oh, howdy, Bob. I'm kind of watching ahead of me, so if I'm kind of delayed in my responses, that's.
I'll just take a picture and send it to him of that.
Here we are. We're coming up on Canal, which is the main street, north-south street. And the story goes it was named Canal because it was once a canal that got filled in and became the main street. And I could see that because this area around here is very swampy. All right, we're off Bourbon and now we're on Canal. The original French town, or what's now the French Quarter, was built on the only really high ground in this area next to the river. And then as the city grew, they would dredge canals and drain the swamps and let the land dry out and then start building. And then they would put up levees to keep the floods out. And it's true that a lot of New Orleans is actually under sea level. So, when Hurricane Katrina hit, yeah, mostly when I was on Bourbon, I was looking straight ahead, trying to avoid getting too close to a lot of people. I've had my shots, but unfortunately, a lot of people haven't. Now they're talking about everybody needing to get a booster. I already know that with all the music that's being played around, I'm going past the 14-second rule, and so I'll be gigged on this and have all sorts of copyright warnings. You know, YouTube really needs to come up with a legal mechanism to say, hey, ambient sound does not count. If somebody's playing their music too loud and you're doing a live stream or shooting a video, hey, too bad, too sad. Go after the person that's playing the music too loud, because they're the ones who are broadcasting it. That's America's first movie theater. I was just reading this earlier today. I'm also kind of killing time letting some of these people go past because they're acting hanky. They're sort of paying attention to what I'm doing and acting like I don't have the right. But, there's America's first movie theater. Actually, I think they said that Edison, Vitascope Hall, that Edison was send out his equipment. What does it say here? Of the 40 Edison Vitascope territories in the U.S., only Louisiana was financially successful. As we know, I better get it over here because this car is going to turn. As we know, Thomas Edison essentially invented Hollywood. In addition to the light bulb and the phonograph, he invented motion pictures. And the first movie theaters where people get a hold of the equipment and they'd hang a sheet on the wall and project on the sheet. And, charge people to come in and watch the new wonderful invention. Alrighty. This area here is full of hotels. So I'll leave it up to you to guess which one treated us so hankily. I will say one thing. It was not this one. And actually, the hotel itself is kind of beautiful. It's in one of these old buildings. It's not one of these new high-rise deals. It's like an old, but it is a national chain. All right. I was requested by the missus to bring home some calamari. And so the closest to our hotel was this one that was open. And I got to go from here, a platter and calamari. Of course, it was all fried seafood. And she was like, eh. I thought it was okay. I liked it. Well, anyway, I'm going to end this here. Whew. Go home, get out of the sauna, and then freeze to death in the ice cold air conditioning. So that is New Orleans. I've been out doing this for over an hour. It is time to go home. I'll put my head on a pillow. So, thanks for watching, everybody. This guy's going to spray this block, so I'm going to get wet if I stay in here too long. So, see ya.